And we're back on KCBD now, Friday morning, finally Friday. Hooray, it's Friday, and we are celebrating Friday with Darryl Holland, good friend of the Cactus Theater, from the Cactus Theater.
Yeah.
And Darryl and I have worked together on several shows over the years, and just enjoy Darryl every time we get together, and we're enjoying him today. So we're going to learn more about the Cactus Theater. We talked about the movies, and people don't realize that you have those classic movies.
Yeah.
And we talked about it being a theater at one time, but you bring those back,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of fun, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Well, the Cactus, in its early days was only movies.
Right.
There was no stage. A lot of people think that stage has always been there. No, that was built in the 90s when it was rebirthed, as I say,
Yeah.
or brought back as a performance venue. And so then the concert aspect was added. But so what's the thing that appealed to me when I first took the reins in 2016 is the fact that, yes, it had this other life. It started its life as a cinema. We can bring that back, through the magic of a little button I push and this giant screen drops down, and all of a sudden you go from stage to screen.
Yeah.
Literally from a flat stage to, okay, now the screen has come down and covered.
And you don't
this-
see the stage. It's
Right.
so close right there.
Yeah,
at the
you don't see
beginning.
the screen
Yeah.
because it's coiled up in the ceiling.
Right.
And we have the largest retractable screen that you can buy.
Wow.
And so it covers 23 feet wide and 16, 17 foot tall. And so, you get that ability to transform the space from concert venue to cinema. And so I love that. And so we've done things through the years, showed some tech football games. We showed the national, the Final Four in the basketball and everything like that. And we've used it for other things, maybe televising the ball drop New Year's Eve. But we also use it for our classic cinema series, and then we are available for rentals. We do several during the Christmas season, especially. People will have their Christmas, their company party, or something, and they'll want to show a film, maybe do hors d'oeuvres or whatever. So down by the stage, as you know, we do a lot of shows that either have a fundraising component where you've got a silent auction, or hors d'oeuvres like our Valentine's film that we do every year, a romantic movie, little hors d'oeuvres before, and then packages and things that we do from there. But the ability to transform through the push of a button and take it back to its earliest incarnation as a cinema, that's a thrill. And I just love the movies and thinking which ones we're going to show. And in that series that we're, fixing to debut on the 16th for the fall, this is the third year in a row of our full year-round schedule. We have a fall, spring, and then some summer films.
Okay.
But this fall series, we're going to have 2 bonus films if they buy the series pass.
Oh.
And nobody's going to know what they are until we send the little invite to those series pass holders.
Yeah.
And so that's fun. So it'll be actually 10 films, and so it's a lot of fun to kind of figure out what you're going to play, and what people want to see, what we could surprise them with. And so I love the films.
Darryl, I'm a lover of the classic films. I watch Turner Classic Movies on a daily basis, and I'm one who really doesn't believe that if the film wasn't in black and white, it's not really a film. I love the black, because I think the films, the older films from the 30s, 40s, 50s, they had a true story.
Yeah.
Now we're built a lot on the special effects, and the special effects are fun. I'm not saying I don't like movies today, but I like the stories, and they're usually positive, uplifting stories, but that was fun. But talking about the theater again, there's something about watching it with other people. For a long time, as the movies developed, we thought, well, people are just going to stay home. Movie theaters are going to go away. No, they're not.
Yeah.
There's something special about enjoying it with an audience, isn't there?
Well, and not only that, but it's just the spectacle of the bigger screen.
Right.
And, of course, the modern films, of course, have all the sound effects and the rumble. I don't think a lot of people know that what we did is came in there and not only did the giant screen that retracts, but the projection is digital, it's laser. And the sound, we put little speakers around the upper portion of between the ceiling and the wall that create, that allow that surround sound feeling that just envelops you.
Yeah.
And the subwoofers and the base of the stage, they're not just there for the concerts. They actually create the rumble, just like when we're
Right.
watching Twister, you're gonna
You're
feel
going to feel the twister.
you're gonna
Yeah.
feel that surround, that emotion, and that that vibe. Really, it just overtakes your senses when you're watching it in that big environment, as opposed to on your phone or a tablet. You do that on the plane or whatever when you're flying somewhere, but you've got it condensed down to this tiny little platform. Whereas in the theater, you're experiencing it, you're feeling it, you're enveloped by it. And as you mentioned, with people, friends, family, whatever, a lot of these shows are traditions, like
Yeah.
It's a Wonderful Life, or
That's the one I thought of for Christmas.
we've got that on the slate, and
Yeah.
the Polar Express.
Right, there's another one.
And so sharing those moments with people that you love, or meet someone there, or maybe it's a date situation, or girls' night out, or whatever it might be. It's just fun to get people together, whether it's a concert or comedy or classic film. And so that's what we try to do, is develop something that appeals to a lot of different people and have enough variety that people want to come, and maybe they don't, or don't have a affinity for all of the films, but they like 6 of the 8, or they like, whatever. And so that's what's fun, is putting it together and then watch people come in and experience that. Sometimes they'll come dressed up.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so fun to see that, and how people treat that experience.
We were talking about black and white versus color films, but there's one film that actually started in black and white and then went to color, and that's The Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
So you start in black and white when Dorothy's back in the farm, and then when she lands in the land of Oz, and at that time, color had I'm not going to say color was just invented. It was just invented for movies.
Right.
And so people that went to watch that movie, all of a sudden they're seeing this black and white. Oh, that's fine.
It was kind of
And
sepia
then-
tone, actually.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And then it's color.
Yeah.
And the colors were beautiful. I mean, the munchkins and everything that was around there.
The Yellow Brick Road.
The Yellow Brick Road. And that was one of the fun movies. I played Tin Man in the 7th grade in Australia when I lived there. Yeah, little known fact right there, a little aside. But that's one of the fun things. But it's been fun to watch the progression of movies through the years, too, and you're celebrating that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And we always try to, in the mix of these classic films, we'll have, a classic, like in the car world, a classic's 25 years old, right?
Right,
Well,
right.
so you don't have to go back too far and still have a classic that's a modern classic, but we like to go back, way back. And, like last year we did Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and just various films. Dracula. We're going to show Dracula a couple of days before Halloween. I mean, we're talking about Bela Lugosi, 1931.
He was the best Dracula.
Oh, man. It started it all,
Yeah.
I bid you welcome,
You could do that, Darryl. Oh, my gosh, that was good.
Yeah, you got to get the hand up there. Yeah. But anyway, that's what's fun, is bringing things back, celebrating them, whether it's an anniversary year. I guess it's 95 years for Dracula. Came out 31, and this is a 6, so there's a 5 in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So, 50 years, 45 years, whatever. We try to do, no, they're not all on an anniversary year, but
Right.
but I try to kind of look at that. What came out 25 years ago, 35, 50, whatever, and that's part of the process in selecting these films. But, I love the black and white films, because that's really when people were thinking things through, shadows and different. If they're wearing this, where they're filming it, how will it transform on the stage, on the screen? And so there was so much that went into the movie making process that was beyond just acting or the script.
Yeah.
And so film noir, a lot of people like those kind of, maybe the stars aren't as well known, but the film is a classic because of this story, or, the Black Cat, or this or
The
that.
way they shot it. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
different things that go into that.
Yeah, so we try to do it, and we do a lot of Hitchcock, every year in October.
Love him.
So this year we have Dial M for Murder.
Yes.
Excuse me. And we have Top Gun. It's a 40-year, came out in 86.
Now, that's hard to believe.
I know, 40
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And
We're old now, Darryl. You
well,
know that, don't you?
I know.
No, that's a classic. That's another classic.
Yeah, a modern classic.
Yes, absolutely.
But so we just have fun with it.
Yeah.
And Rebel Without a Cause,
There's
showing
another
that
James
on
Dean.
on September 30th, talk about magical. I mean, this is the deal where we were planning to show that anyway, and we were shifting the dates around. We had it earlier, and then we shifted everything down to give it more time to kind of people get back in their routines with school and everything. And so we had it going to debut on the 16th. Well, we slid everything down, so we put it on the 30th. And while I'm typing up the information to go on the website, it says James Dean died on September 30th, 1955.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm like, oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
We're going to show it on the anniversary
On
of
that
his
anniversary.
death. And so that's just one where just dumb luck, he just kind of fell in place. And so those are just those, I mean, that's not a huge thing, but it's a neat deal. It's a neat, as Bob Ross would use, little happy accident, it happened right there, not even planning on it. But so we'll celebrate or remember James Dean on that day with Rebel Without a Cause.
Yeah, Darryl, and speaking of remembering people, we briefly mentioned the Caldwell family, but Don Caldwell and the Caldwell family is who you bought the cactus from the 10 years ago. We're celebrating 10 years. And I know you appreciate what Don did for so many years in building up that classic audience, as he's the one responsible for the rebirth of the Cactus Theater and did so much for entertainment here around the South Plains, and Don's definitely missed.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, that's just one of those things where the legacy, I'm tasked with carrying that on. And when I first stepped into the role 10 years ago, that was, how do you do that?
Sure, you feel the weight of that, don't you?
Oh, yeah. And so you have to recognize that it's going to take a little time to figure out, I'm still trying to figure out where some of the light switches are, where we need a plug. We need to put one in. In 1938, they didn't think about it needing a plug right there, and so you have to, as kind of the tagline has always been, savor the past, live in the now, in the present, celebrate the present and plan for the future. And so that's what it is in everything that we do. We want to cherish and remember and take forward as much as we can, from the architecture to the themes and the performers that have come before, and we have to do it in the now, and we have to be thinking about the future. How do we preserve this space? How do we enhance it? You have to have the modern creature comforts, as I call them. We have the new seats with cup holders,
right?
And, things like that. I mean, who would think a cup holder is a big deal? But for
but
years,
it is.
People came and set their drinks on the floor, and they'd get kicked over, this, that.
Yeah.
So now, you get your drink, you put it in a little holder there, and wow, what a convenience. You don't think about it. Yeah, but it's such a thing that people expect these days.
Right.
And so you have that balancing act between the past and the charm, and I think that's what we've been able to maintain. And of course, the historic structure, when people pull up, wow, they see that, and yet we've done things to preserve that and yet take it into the future, like the moving lights up front, the changing lights, everything. Several buildings downtown have, color changing LED lights now, but I think the Cactus was the first.
Yeah.
That we put that in there to kind of create that Hollywood premiere type
The marquee.
look.
Yeah.
Yeah, we updated the marquee in 3 years ago. And so kept the look, but added some elements. It didn't have the little cactus motif with the word cactus. It for years just said cactus. Well, cactus what?
Yeah.
And so we added, the little escarpment, the little behind the little plateau artwork in different colors to create perspective, and the little motifs of the cactus and different varieties and everything, to where it kind of fleshed it out. It paid homage to the old and kept that, retained that, but it kind of fleshed it out, where maybe if it weren't the Depression years when they built that sign, maybe they would have spent a little bit more or fleshed it out. Sure. But in 1938, times were tough. That was the Dust Bowl era, the end of the Depression. And so things were economized, and you could only do so much. Maybe that was the reasoning, whatever. And then when it was rebirthed, trying to keep that original look. But at the same time, we think it's appropriate to add a few things and have it evolve and still remember. So that's kind of what everything we do is brought with that intentional perspective.
Sure.
How do we celebrate and preserve and yet move forward?
Darryl, I know for a while one of the challenges you had, and it was a major challenge, was they were doing road work on 19, making it very, very, see, he rolled his eyes immediately, making it very, very difficult for you. The good news is that's behind you.
Yes.
And that road work has been completed.
Yeah.
But I want to take this into a positive way, not look back at the negative, and
Yeah.
that is that around the time that was completed, you also built a parking lot at the back of the Cactus Theater, and that has been major, Darryl,
Oh, yeah.
to giving people a place to park, because there's not always a lot of places to park in the Depot District.
Right.
That one move
Yeah.
has been tremendous, hasn't it?
Right. Well, the lot was there, and we used it these last few years. But we took out a little building that was the little office building when it was a car lot.
Right.
Reclaimed that space, create a little archway, some lighting for safety and just awareness, and just the ability to, when you get there, you say, "Oh, theater parking on the wall." You know, that's where, that's the Cactus parking. And by opening that up, and because it's connected with our breezeway that we developed during COVID, we were
Right.
shut down for 14 months. And so these little things, there was a plan. The lot's there. Here, how do we connect this? And so all of that is, again, with having a dream and a scheme to get it there and evolve it. And so a lot of people didn't even know that there was a lot there for the
Yeah.
last several years, but when we were able to connect it with that breezeway, that made all the difference. And so people weren't having to walk down 19th with oncoming traffic on a
There's
skinny.
not a sidewalk there, so that wasn't a good area.
It's a skinny sidewalk.
Yeah.
But now it's really fleshed out, and so that's taken pressure off of the parking on Buddy Holly Avenue. Of course, Triple J across the street. A lot of people come and eat there before, and it's okay to park there and eat. But obviously, I wanted to take pressure off that. Being a good neighbor, we wanted to. It's a great symbiotic relationship we have, and so Joe and Tish Keller, just good friends to the Cactus, and there's that dinner and a movie or dinner and a show. That concept's always been there, but I wanted to take pressure off their parking and be self-contained and as much as we can, and then the folks that are going to eat there, park there, eat, and then come across. But by fleshing out or developing the parking lot in a bigger way, it's really, as you said, been a game changer. And so a lot of people, they come down there and they know at 19th and Texas,
Yeah.
there's that little pull in, and we got a lot of space there, and of course along the curb there and everything like that. So there's been a lot of improvement with the parking.
Yeah, and you've got some good artwork there too.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks good.
Yeah, well, we hired local artists,
Right.
and the building of the wall, and I wanted to have an archway, and kind of we replicated the marquee art onto the wall there where you walk through, so it looks like symbolically you've got the marquee with this archway. So
Yeah.
in a sense, when you park your car, you're starting that first phase of walking into the Cactus by walking through the archway, down the breezeway. Look both ways because that's an alleyway there. But anyway, we'll walk down the breezeway and then into the formal entrance to the Cactus. But your first kind of welcome mat is the artwork on the walls there at the parking, and people really have said, "Oh, thank you for doing this. This is next level."
Oh, yeah, I love it. And that's where Carolyn and I park. When I go MC a show, she goes down the breezeway, I go this way, so it works out real well. Yeah. Darryl, I want to talk more about your Cactus family as far as the people that work there and how they've helped. But we're going to take a quick break right now and be back, and we'll talk about that coming up in just a moment. You're visiting with Darryl Holland from the Cactus Theater. Darryl's been the owner there for 10 years now, just passed that milestone on July 1st, and we've been talking all things Cactus, looking ahead to upcoming shows and learning a little bit more about behind the scenes of the Cactus Theater. We'll be back with more on KCBD Now, the Friday edition with Kurt Kaiser in just a moment. We'll see you back here in 2 minutes.